Hey guys, it's Bella, the Maker Mama boss lady behind Bella's Custom Crochets, and today I'm going to show you how to add a project page to Ravelry. If you don't already have a Ravelry account, I'm already logged in here, but you can go to Ravelry.com. It is an online knit and crochet fiber arts community, and make yourself an account. And I do want to note that I am using the old pink and green classic look. They've since updated, and it's been kind of glitchy and controversial and not particularly inclusive. So I'm using the classic, and I'm going to walk you through how to add a project. So you go to My Notebook. You can add a project from your queue if you already have something lined up in there. And go Start Project from there. But I usually go straight to Projects. You can see here these are all projects that I've added in the past. It's not a lot. Some people add literally everything they set their hands to making. I only add projects if I'm test crocheting or test knitting. But some people really like it as a way to catalog their maker journey or kind of use as a diary to keep track of all of their makes. But yeah, I like to just use Ravelry as little as possible. So you can go Add Project from here, and I'm going to walk you through how to add one of my patterns just because that seems right. So you pick your craft, crocheting. And then here you can call your project whatever you'd like to remember it by in your little diary entry. It doesn't have to be the actual name of the pattern. So I will call it My Favorite Cowl, I guess. Up next, you're going to select whether you used a pattern or you completely were winging it or you used a pattern that is not in Ravelry. And here's where you enter the pattern name, what it's actually called. If you're testing and you've been given a tester code, it's usually all caps test dash numbers, letters, something, something. This is where you can copy and paste that in so that when the pattern goes live, the designer will already have a bunch of project pages showing up with that. I always do that for my testers, but if it's a pattern that already exists in Ravelry, you can just add the actual name. And then it should pull up the names for you. I do not know why it pulled up that one, but there's mine. So we're going to choose that, and you can see the other projects that have been listed for that pattern. All right, so we called it My Favorite Cowl, and here we're going to just put in who we made it for. I'm going to say myself, but you can put in whoever. You have the option to link to the person you're making it for. I usually just leave this one blank, or I tell my testers to put it as my Ravelry name. But if your mom's on Ravelry and you made her the cowl, you can put that in, you know. At Bella's Custom. All right, if you have a finish by date, you can add that. We'll just say today was the deadline. If there was a size that you made, the cowl's one size, but if you were doing, like I have a garment one that I did in the past, or if you were doing like a small, medium, large, or a toddler versus adult size, you know how sizes work. So we'll just put one size. We already put the pattern, it's all linked in. You have the option to add additional patterns. Here the example is if you were making a sweater but you use some color work off of a hat, you can add that in as well. That's not the case here. It always does this. We're going to just stay on this page. Okay. We already did the craft. And then you can add some tags. You just separate them with commas. Cowl, one skein project. Let's say neck warmer. You can also click and see other related tags. So you can do hashtags as well if you were doing like something for a make-along or something. So we'll use those tags. And then you can add in the hook size. And this one would be the hooks or the needles that you actually got gauge with, not just what's listed in the pattern, the ones that you actually used. So these are the ones that I use in my pattern. And I think you can add as many as you need there. And you can put in the gauge. And you can enter the pattern for the gauge. You can also add in your yarns. If you have your yarns all stashed in Ravelry, you can add them from there, but I ain't got time for that. So I just added my yarns this way. I made this cowl out of Once Upon, oops, using my husband's keyboard, and it's totally different than my keyboard. It's weirding me out. Whew! There we go. Once upon a corgi, and you should be able to pull up her different bases. Sound really cutie. So that auto fills in that it's fingering weight, and then the yardage, that is that particular skein. The colorway, I don't think is listed there, so we can add that snow moon, and then you can pick the color that best describes that colorway. We'll say, I guess it's technically a multicolored, but we'll say gray. There's no dye lax, it's an indie dyed. And then this is a one skein project and you use pretty much every single last bit of that skein, but if you were doing something like a sweater and you use like 4.5 skeins, you can add in your totals there instead. I don't keep track of the pricing or purchasing dates in Ravelry, but you can do that if you would like. And you can also add more yarns if it was a project that wasn't just using a single one colored skein. And then you can add some notes. Do note that these are public. So anything you put here will be able to be seen by anybody that clicks on your project page. So don't say any private information about the pattern, like don't copy and paste any bits in there if it's a paid for pattern. Don't say I pattern tested for Bella and she was a jerk, because then I'll be sad. But yeah, I'm just gonna put in create one skein project to get familiar with fingering weight yarn. Perfect. I'm telling you guys, this keyboard is killing me. This is also where you can add in any modifications if you made any. If you're testing, you're probably not doing a lot of modifications, but just any notes that you think would be helpful either for you to remember to go back and make the pattern again, or for somebody else to make the pattern. You can also add private notes that would just apply to only you. And there's a couple more bits and pieces up here we can add in. Status of the project, we're going to say it's finished. Then we can rate how happy we are with the project. I'm so happy with it. I don't understand why status and progress are not the same, because that makes literally no sense to me, but it's 100% finished. You can put in start and end dates. Let's just say that that was that. Made it back in like February. But you can also pick groups if it was for a tester group or you're part of a make-along or anything like that. And then there's just some ratings for the project itself. It's my pattern, so I'm going to say that the pattern was stupendous. And you can also rate the yarn. I've already done that, so it's showing up there, but you can put a little rating in there just to help out other people in Rav. And then you can add some photos. You can upload them from all of these sources. Who is even still using Flickr? I always do from my computer to upload them. And I forget almost every time you actually have to click upload now. Once they're uploaded, you can drag them around, you can do some cropping, and you have the option to add some descriptions. It's up close, one word. It is not. You can click through to the next one. You can also tag people in the photos. I usually tag testers, but I can tag myself because I'm the one modeling this. I know how to spell my name. And then you can tag the person. And then, yeah, when you're finished adding whatever information you need to or dragging them around, you can click Finish with Photos. And then there we go. You can go back and add more photos if you'd like. You can add comments. You can link blog posts. But that's basically the gist of it. You can add as much info or as little info as pleases you. Scroll on through, make sure you got everything in there, and then save changes. So there it is. Hooray, it's finished. Goodbye. And you can go back and edit it later if you wanted to add more information. You can share it, you can save it in your favorites. It's a really helpful way not only to keep track of your own projects, but to help out the Fiverr community. It's very helpful for designers to have people have listed other projects. So if you're having a hard time maybe imagining a pattern on your body type or your skin tone or what color you might like to make it in, all of those things, it's very helpful to have projects of other makers. And it's also very just fun to go through and be like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that color combination. So projects are a great way to just help out yourself and the fiber arts community. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you liked the video, you can like this video, and if you liked me, you can subscribe to my channel. I do a couple times a month podcast and then lots of tutorials that I think would help out our fiber community. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you, and I hope you add some projects. Thanks, guys. Bye.